Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all well and good out there today. I would like to welcome you to our webinar, Awaken Spain. So I'm just going to let you know that we're now using our Zoom webinar function. So you may have noticed the screen slightly different to some of our previous webinars. So what you've got now, you've got a chat bar, you've got a Q&A bar, and you've got some polls as well. So I'd like you all to start now by getting into the chat, and I want you all to type to everybody, hello, hello. So type away, hello, hello. Excellent. I can see everybody's going to be fully awake today with this. This is going to be a good event. And let me open my presentation as well. So welcome everybody to our event. So we're going to be looking at Spain destination, the awakening. And why are we awakening Spain? Well, starting in June, we were able to see the borders opening and Spain welcoming tourists from Asia, from selected markets. And so today we're going to look at how to get to Spain in terms of accessing the country. We're going to look at what we can see now, how we can see it now, also how we get around as well. So we've got some great presenters, and I want to inspire you to promote and sell Spain destination to your customers. So the rundown for today, I've got to introduce our guest presenters. Firstly, I'd like to introduce Monica Sanchez from Tourism Spain. Hello, Monica. Okay, Monica.
Oops, yes, I was mute. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Great stuff. And Ginga-san from Mickey Travel Madrid. Hello, Ginga.
Hello, everyone.
I've also got Caitlin McDowell from Rail Europe. She's based in Australia. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, how's it going?
Great stuff. And finally, we've got Kathy Lupisan from Mickey Travel Asia. She's based in Hong Kong, but she looks after the Philippines market. Hi, Kathy.
Hola, hola.
Great stuff. Hola, hola. Kumustaga and Apagabar. Okay, today we're going to go through some presentations, starting with Monica from Spain Tourism. She's going to let us know that Spain is ready for tourism. She's got some PowerPoint and some videos to play. Then we've got Mickey Spain updates from Ginga-san about different destinations in Spain, and also a video as well. Then we will look at Rail Europe and looking at more ways to travel than just by bus. So this is something that I really wanted you to know about today. And finally, we're going to look at Mickey offering Two Can Go packages and Two Can Go for your customers. So let's inspire people to travel. Throughout the show, you can add your questions in the Q&A box. Okay, there's a chat box and a Q&A box. I strongly recommend you put your questions in the Q&A box, and we can address them usually at the end of each presenter or at the end of the show. And also all the materials that we show you today, we will send to you after the show. Okay, I've also put some questions in the polls as well. So I will enable that soon, and you can answer your feedback about your business and your thoughts about this webinar. Okay, so why Mickey Travel is your key partner for Spain? We've got the largest bed bank of hotel allotments for groups. We've got large choice of activities and attractions for Asian markets. Obviously, leisure, MICE, and incentive group handling experience is us. We also have a strong network office and representatives across Europe, and especially Madrid office. And of course, we have a Pan-Asia sales network that's still very active even through the pandemic. Mickey Travel also updates you every couple of weeks on the travel situation in Europe. So you're able to click on the travel situation update button and scroll down, and you can actually see in Spain the latest general information about the border, the hotel, coaches, shops, restaurants, and entrances. And of course, we work to keep that updated so that you can have it. Of course, in the presentation today, we will also be giving some updates as well. In case you don't receive this newsletter, please let your local sales representative know, and they can add you to the database to make sure that you get it. Mickey Travel, we also have been receiving the World Travel and Tourism Council accreditation for safe travels. And this means we can provide safe and fulfilling travel experiences. Our partners will give you cleanliness, obviously the social distancing measures with passenger health and safety. So this is something that our commitment to you to make sure that we provide safe travels. And finally, I really want to get your attention to Dream to Travel, because I know we've all been at the mercy of the pandemic, but of course things are getting better now. More people in Europe are getting vaccinated, and in Asia are getting vaccinated as well. Indications are that the countries are opening, and as we we'll find out today, Spain is awake and ready for visitors to arrive. So let's dream to travel, everybody. And with that, I will now pass to my colleague Monica and welcome you to join us.
Okay, well, good afternoon again, everybody. Selamat siang. Hola a todos. And thank you, team, and thank you to Mickey Travel for letting me be part of this webinar. As Tim has mentioned, I am the director of the Spain Tourism Board based in Singapore. And in this webinar, what I would like is to give you the basic information that you need to give your clients that relaxing experience that they can have in Spain. I would like to start with a video that I think reflects really well what we are feeling or what we have been feeling being in lockdown on and off for so long. This is a video from a campaign for the European markets, but I think we can all identify with it. So Tim, could you please hit start?
Sure.
Thank you.
And
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know why. I mean, all these videos always makes me smile, you know, it gives me that warm feeling of Spain. I hope it's not just me, it's everybody. But okay, let me start with my presentation. I'm going to share my screen, and somebody please give me the heads up that I am sharing my presentation and not my inbox. Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. Well, before I start with the presentation, let me just tell you three things that I think that I would like to highlight. The first one, and this is something that it hasn't changed in this time, is that Spain, as always, offers the best experiences for travelers. We still have the same amazing cultural heritage, the gastronomic experience with the best Mediterranean products, great shopping with tax-free refund, and activities and facilities for all kinds of taste and budget and for the whole family. Second, and really important right now, is that Spain has adopted safety protocols and health measures so you can relax and sail Spain with no worries added. Spain is ready for international travel. Just to give you an example, let me tell you that in Spain, the vaccination process is really advanced. More than 63% of the total population is fully vaccinated. And in fact, 9 out of 10 people older than 40 are already vaccinated with both shots. And third, we are really well aware of how confusing travel information, how many things you have to handle when you need to travel right now. We need to think about tests, about quarantines, paperwork, masks, apps, lots of requirements, different requirements depending on the travelings you are going to or traveling through. So we want to make it easy for you when you are planning a trip to Spain. There's plenty of things to do and to see in Spain. So we think you need to take it slow. You can get to see the whole country and you can do that, in Spain with no worries at it, as I say, with all this information we are going to give you. So let's take a look at the presentation. Okay. There you go. Well, I just know that Mickey Travel, as Tim mentioned, is going to share this presentation with you. We have included here a slide with the contact information for our office, our website, as well as our social media and email address. Also here, I don't know why this is not moving. There we go. Is the support that our office can provide. From networking and contact with suppliers from Spain to product updates, any graphics, any material that you might need for your programs and your website, information about Spain, and of course, webinars such as this one or product related. Now I go too far. Now, regarding traveling to Spain, Spain updates the list of countries allowed to travel for tourism reasons every 7 days. So keep in mind that what I am saying right now might be different from the information I will be giving you next week or next month. As of today, Indonesia and Philippines are considered high-risk countries. This means that if your clients want to go to Spain on vacation and they are 12 years old and older, they need to be fully vaccinated. And they need to present a vaccination certificate. This certificate has to be provided by the competent authority in Indonesia or the Philippines, and the vaccines accepted are the ones approved by the European Medicine Agency or authorized by the World Health Organization. Right now, 6 of them, and you have them there in your screen. Also, in the presentation, we have included, let me see, I don't know if you made a screen, you are seeing also this, okay. In the screen, we have also included what information the certificate has to include. Now, keep in mind that fully vaccinated means that the vaccination has been completed at least 14 days before the departure day. In addition to the vaccination certificate, every traveler coming by air needs to fill out a health control form. Now you can find this form online in the address that is there on the upper right side of the slide, or you can download the app. It's a very easy form. I mean, I have done it to go to Spain last month, very few questions, very easy to do. And you have to present it when you arrive in Spain, and you have to fill it up within the 48 hours before you arrive. And this QR code that you will be given, you can present it on paper, on your phone, or any other electronic device. So to recap, very easy, only 2 requirements, only 2 required documents: the vaccination certificate and the health control form. Once you land in Spain, your temperature is going to be taken. You won't even realize that, because they use the thermographic cameras that we are so familiar with right now. There will be people that will be visually assessing your health in case anybody looks sick, pale, and so on. And then they will be checking your documents, your QR code, and any other paperwork you need to present. Now, keep in mind also that right now, there are still some restrictions that can be different according to the region you are traveling to in Spain. Mickey Travel will keep you updated depending on the itinerary of the trip that your clients are booking. But just in case, if you want to check all these requirements on your own, you can do it in our website. A website we have prepared precisely to do all these all this new planning of trips easy for you. I will go through the website for in a minute, but this is how it will look like to check the different requirements to Spain. You will go here to this address, travelsafe.spain.info, and you click Travel to Spain, select your destination region. You click in the region you want to go to, and it appears this menu. You see, it will give you when was last time updated, the website. This was updated last Monday at 11 in the morning. Okay, but you have a menu and you can display this menu. Like for example, here I choose to display, the nightly mobility limitations. And you see that in Andalusia, there is a curfew from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. in some places around Andalusia. So if you are in any of these places, you have to go to bed early and you cannot be up at night from 2 to 7 in the morning. Now, what do you need to wear as protective equipment in Spain? Just the mask. Now, you need the mask when you are indoors or you are in a public transportation. If you are outdoors and you can keep the safety distance with other people, being this safety distance 1.5 meters, you don't need the mask. Now, if you feel more comfortable wearing the mask, just go ahead and use it. Most people in Spain still wear the mask all the time. If you become sick in Spain, well, don't worry. Contact your person from Mickey Travel. And if not, you can also contact the local phone information helpline. Yes, for your peace of mind, it is good to know that in Spain, the emergency healthcare services are guaranteed. And most important is that right now, there are some regions in Spain that provide COVID insurance, free COVID insurance or coverage to international travelers that get sick of COVID while in Spain. Some of these regions are Andalusia, the region of Murcia, Galicia, the Balearic Island, and the Canary Island. Now, all this information is also in this website. So I have talked so much about this website that I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna see, how it looks like and how to go in there. Now, this is the address, travelsafe.spain.info, but you can also log in, like if you go to our main website, spain.info, and then here in the left upper corner, Travel Safe. You click here, and this is the main page. It's organized, you have general information, you have the latest news, but then you have 3 menus. If you can download, scroll down. So how you can travel safely, you have useful information, hotels, restaurants, tips, useful information. So you have a checklist that you can download in a PDF, what you have to do before the trip starts. Checklist, how to buy insurance, what kind of mask do you have? There's a lot of information there. The tips, you have it in infographics, depending on if you're going to, if you're in a hotel, if you are at the museum, if you go to the mountains, etc. Everything is very clear. What kind of trip are you going on? Depending if you're going to the city, you are going to be out in the country, or you are going to be by the coast. And what you need to know before, during, and after your trip. So this website covers a whole array of questions that you or your clients might have during and after the trip. You can find general information, as I said, to stay safe at hotels, restaurants, museums. All information, again, is very clear with infographics, with videos, and with checklists of things to do before and after the trip. I would also like to point out that most of these recommendations are good not only for traveling to Spain, but traveling in general. So we encourage you to keep them in mind and send them to your clients, regardless of the countries they are traveling to. And now finally, and so there is no confusion, the vaccination certificate and the health form I just talked right now are COVID requirements, and they are independent from visa requirements. If your clients needed a visa to travel to Spain before COVID, now they still require visa. You can check all the questions regarding visa at the BLS center in your country. And in any case, just keep in mind that, for example, right now, and due to the current restrictions in Indonesia, the consulate is not issuing visas as we speak. So, you know, you have to be checking the BLS page, or you follow the consulate on social media. You know, they will announce there when they start issuing visas again. I hope this information is useful. As I said before, our job is to support you and to assist you. So please contact us with any requests or suggestions you might have. I'll leave you now with another video of Spain. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Just before we do the video, let me just pose you a couple of questions, yeah? One question is that if the name of the COVID certificate is different from the passport, is there going to be a problem? For example, passport may name Eddie Ang, where the certificate may only name Eddie, because the certificate perhaps is only relating to the identity card of the person. So is there an issue if the passport name is different from the COVID certificate name slightly?
There could be. What I recommend is that they, you know, when they use the, that they have the name the same as they have in the passport, you know?
Okay.
Like if you have a legal name, let's say, you know, always use that legal name, because then it's the one you have in the passport, I assume is the same one that you have in your ID. So, you know, make sure that that's also the name that you have in the certificate.
In some cases, you see, there's a problem with Indonesia is they use the NIK number, which relates to a.
Sorry, that again, which number?
It's an NIK number, which relates to their identity card, which people have in Indonesia. Some people in Indonesia have one name, like literally have one name, like Eddie or Eviriana, like my wife, for example. But in the passport, they'll have two names. Okay, so there could be an issue with that. Perhaps something we could write about by email. Perhaps we could check.
Yeah.
Get back.
Yeah, we're going to. In any case, apart from the name, goes the date of birth. You know, there's another information there. So if you have your passport, you have this ID, the date of birth, and everything. You know, there shouldn't be a problem. But
yeah, we could also test you out with some examples, because I think some of our staff have already had the vaccine as well. So maybe they can share you the vaccine certificate they've got, the passport they've got, and then maybe we could check that one and get back. Because yeah, it looks to me like many Indonesian identity card and vaccine certificate names will actually be different to the passport. You know, slightly different, but still different.
Okay, yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Spain is open for tourists from Indonesia at the moment.
Vaccinated people, yes, with fully vaccinated 14 days before they are going on a trip, before the departure day.
Okay.
So yes.
But the visas are not open at the moment, pending the embassy to open, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the consulate, I guess you are in lockdown, so they are not issuing any visa.
And finally, fully vaccinated Sinovac vaccine passengers are allowed, yeah?
Yeah, there are 6 vaccines that are allowed. Sinovac, Pfizer, Janssen, AstraZeneca, Moderna, and Sinopharm, I think. 6 of them. And they have the names in the presentation. Yes.
Okay. And then finally, I see a question, Philippine passport holder can cross-border from Spain to France for tourism purposes. Okay, I think we will check up on with Ginga later, because Ginga can talk about the borders with other countries. Okay, so now let me play your video and then we can move along, yeah?
Okay, perfect.
Do you remember things we've done together? Talked about being so free. I'd like to kiss you, desperately kiss you, like I did in 1993. Summers came, years passed by.
Awesome. Okay, so Spain is ready. And now what can we see in Spain? Ginga-san, welcome, my friend.
Hello, hello everyone. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, can hear you well.
Let me introduce. Sorry, I will start with the. I will share my screen with you. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Ginga. My parents are Japanese, but I was born in Spain. I grew up in Spain. So basically, I consider myself as Spanish. I love this country a lot. In fact, for me, the best thing in this country is the people, more than the monuments. But it's a thing that you cannot feel. So I recommend long stay to feel what is the hospitality here, because it's really good. Let me start about the just a reminder about what kind of locations or places that you can visit in Spain and some news in this marvelous country. Here, this is a summary, but first of all, I will talk about basic information in Spain, and then I will pass to different cities like Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, etc. So first of all, let me talk about the security, the COVID measures in the coaches. And in Spain, there are not limits for packs in coaches. It's a point that to be pay attention, because in some countries, like our neighbor Portugal, the limit of the capacity for the coaches are 2/3. So in case of you combine tours of Spain and Portugal, it's better to pay attention. In Spain, majority of the coaches are 50-55, so it's important to consider the limit of one group when we use the coach. And the second point is that we need all the customers must wear mask inside the coach. Also, of course, driver as well. And the third point is that all coaches are cleaning daily, all of our coaches, and depending on the service, also all the coaches are cleaning between services. It means that, for example, after one transfer, and our coaches go to another one services. So in that moment, the driver always clean up again the coach. Also, the air inside the coach is renewed every 2 minutes. It's average time, but for the new ones, this time reduced to 30 seconds, between 30 seconds and 1 minute. And all of our coaches can provide hand sanitizing gel inside, and that is not a problem with it. And of course, all our contract coach companies have all the certificates and to offer you a safe travel. Then, what is about the restaurants? Again, wearing mask is compulsory except when eating or drinking. As Monica-san said before, the max packs per table are limited, but it depends on the region. In some areas like Madrid, the limit indoor in the restaurants are 6 people per table, but in some other areas like Valencia is limited to 10. But this information changes every week, so just keep us a reminder that this information as a reminder, because maybe when the groups comes to Spain, it changes again. So I just just pick up this information as that there is a limit of packs per table. And between tables, there must be 1.5 meters. This is very important to consider, because the capacity of the some restaurants actually are limited, right? Finally, I know that many Asian groups request Chinese restaurants. All the dishes will be served separately, except if there is a special request for one family, but basically we stop to offer the sharing dishes for the customers. And what about the monuments? Again, wearing mask is compulsory. There are a limitation of packs per group. It changes depending on museum. For example, in Prada Museum, before COVID was 30 packs, as you know, but now it's limited to 15. There are also capacity limits. At this moment, there is not any problem in spite of there is a capacity limit because the tourist number is not so high. And at the entrance, in all the museums, there will be a temperature control that is very, very fast, but all the visitors must take this procedure. And let me start talk about just a reminder about the things, about the places that you can see in our cities. I want to start with Barcelona, which is the most popular city for Asian countries. Here I put some pictures. Let me remind, there's a World Park, Boqueria Market, which actually is one of the most visited places in Barcelona. And in fact, some years ago, it was not so popular, but now it's a must when you visit Barcelona. Spain Square, which is the second largest square in Spain. Magic Fountain in Montjuic in Barcelona. The light up is really, really interesting. I recommend to go during in the afternoons. The famous also Catalonia Square and the Gaudí's building. I think that it is not necessary to mention, but let me just say that you can Casa Milan, Casa Batlló, fantastic buildings, and Palau. Many of them are UNESCO World Heritage. And near Barcelona, you have also a lot of choices, like visit Montserrat Monastery. It is located around 1 hour from Barcelona. Right now it's free. I don't know how it can be, how it can change the future, but it's very important point, free. In this years, it's very, very difficult to find something free, but the Montserrat Monastery is still free. And also around 1 hour from Barcelona, you can find a lot of wineries, and the famous one is Torres Winery. And also famous towns like Cadaqués, Figueras. That is very, very beautiful places that I recommend to visit. And on the way to Valencia, from Barcelona to Valencia, you can find also Tarragona Aqueduct, which is UNESCO World Heritage. It's a very beautiful place and usually ignored by many tourists, but I think it's very, very good place to have a short stop to take a picture. And let me talk about what's new in Barcelona after COVID. First of all, let me recommend you to include Sagrada Familia with elevator. In fact, I know that Asian groups usually go ahead is quite late. So when the groups go ahead, usually all the tickets for the elevator are sold out. But after COVID is the moment. So because there are not so many visitors, and actually it's quite easy to make a reservation for the elevator. And just an information you can see in the left picture, that there will be a new elevator from 2022. Also, I think that probably the tourists will not come back again to full 100% until maybe end of 2022. So in 2022, at the beginning, if the lift starts to operate, we can book this elevator. I think it's quite interesting point. And the second place in Barcelona is the Picasso Museum. This museum previously was really difficult to confirm because we receive official information from them that they are not interested to provide tickets to visitors because they're and their preference always are the school students and the local people. But as I mentioned before, there are not so many visitors right now. So now you can include this fantastic museum in your itineraries. And what about the food in Barcelona? The seafood in Barcelona is absolutely incredible. But I think that is more than the quality, because the quality is quite similar in other cities, is the atmosphere, because it's not the same to eat good seafood in Madrid like in Barcelona near the sea. This is a very important point. And also you can taste the pasta paella. You can see a picture at the bottom left. This is fideuá, pasta paella. It's very, very famous, and actually not so famous. I could not see. I only see this menu in a few tours, and I recommend this a lot. And the other one at the top right, you can see the calçots. This is a barbecue of leeks, very, very interesting to eat during winter. It's a very famous dish in Catalonian area, and also in Barcelona area, in Catalonia area, it's very famous, the sparkling wine. We call cava because we cannot call it champagne, because champagne is the name for the sparkling wine coming from the Champagne area. So we can cover. And very important point is that from recently they start to sell cava sparkling wine without alcohol. So we can organize this kind of visits to wineries for also for Muslim customers. Let me continue with Madrid. I think that not mentioned just a fast review of the points of the locations of Madrid. Royal Palace, everybody knows. All the visitors coming from Southeast Asia request to visit this palace. Major Square, Gran Via, Puerta del Sol. This is very, very famous. And also, you can see at the bottom left that is night illumination. We have a lot of requests about pictures of like illumination. It's really interesting in Madrid and other cities, the night illumination during Christmas. And what's new in Madrid? Finally, Prado Museum area, Retiro Garden declared World Heritage this year, just a couple of months ago. I think that finally you can include in your itineraries that Madrid as a city with UNESCO World Heritage Place. And in fact, in this area, you can find a lot of museums, Prado Museum, Reina Sofia Museum, Thyssen Museum. That's all of them are recommendable, but especially I recommend the Prado Museum. In fact, Southeast Asia groups usually don't visit Prado Museum. And let me give you a couple of ideas to solve this more. Maybe you don't know, but in Prado Museum, we have also a Mona Lisa. You can see at the top left is the more clear picture, is the Prado Museum's Mona Lisa. It's not clear at all who was the painter, but it's true that the studio, who produced this picture was the Leonardo da Vinci studio. And also maybe some experts say that exists the possibility that this painting was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. In the left and the right, sorry, we can see the Bosch, very famous paint, and in the bottom, one picture of Velázquez, Las Meninas, and La Maja Vestida, which is the Goya. Velázquez and Goya are considered for the experts. I think that's two of the most important painters in the history. But since I know in Spain we are not good sellers, except in Catalonia area. So I think that we have to promote more these two painters because they are really, really interesting. I think that is not. In fact, you can see a lot of pictures of these painters in other museums, like the National Gallery in London and other museums like in New York. But I don't know why many groups don't visit Prado Museum. And also now, right now, we can offer, actually stop, but for the special groups, we can offer VIP private visit during morning from 9 to 10. It's a really, really interesting experience. A little bit expensive, but it's very, very exclusive for the special tours. Near Madrid, we have a lot of human heritage. Here, I will mention two of them, but we have a lot like Aranjuez, El Escorial, but here you can see Segovia and Avila. Both of them are located around 90 minutes from Madrid by coach. And you can see in the top, Segovia Aqueduct, in the top left. And at the top right, you can see the Castle of Segovia, which is very famous. I think that maybe you recognize something in this castle, and it's because it was one of the castles used as model for the Disney movie, It's Snow White. And at the bottom, you can see the famous walls of Avila. Then also near Madrid, just 1 hour, it's located Toledo, that is the old capital of music of Spain, also UNESCO World Heritage. And I recommend especially to take the panoramic picture of the Toledo. You can see at the top left, this is a really, really interesting point to take a picture. And also once inside, you can feel the Middle Age atmosphere. I think that's all the tours are request to visit Toledo. I think that's not necessary to explain anymore, but just a reminder about what you can see in Toledo. And also not so close to Madrid, around 2 hours. Let me introduce in Castilla-La Mancha. Castilla-La Mancha also is an area where is located Toledo, as well as a very big area. And there you can see a lot of UNESCO World Heritage, like hanging houses. You can see that at the top left in Cuenca. It's around 2 hours and a half from Madrid, but it's a good stop if you're coming from Valencia to Madrid. It's a very, very good stop. And also you can see the Iron Bridge, that's also in Cuenca at the top right. And on the way to the south, from Madrid to the south, you can stop in Toledo, and after that go to the south and stop at the famous windmills. There are some, I recommend especially 2 spots. One is in Consuegra, and the other one is Puerto Lápice. Also in this area, you can find a lot of wineries because the Castilla-La Mancha is the Spain #1 production of wine. Let me continue with Valencia. Many times ignore city. I don't know the reason, maybe no time or something, but for me it's my favorite city because there you can find UNESCO World Heritage. In fact, in Spain, you can find the UNESCO World Heritage everywhere. Vallalonga has very interesting point, very cheap. I think that before COVID, the price was less than €3 per pax, and there are some days free. The Rand Square at the top left, right, you can see Rand Square, the City of Science at the bottom left, and the Mediterranean atmosphere. I think is really, really good to enjoy the beaches in there, and the sea is really, really interesting. Maybe for some of you, because you are coming from Indonesia and Philippines, I visit your countries, and I think that your beaches are better, but the Mediterranean atmosphere is different if you compare with your countries. And Valencia also is famous for their fire celebration, Fallas, which is declared in 2016 UNESCO World Heritage. It takes place in March. And also Valencia area is the origin of famous paella. Paella, originally the paella was made with vegetables and rabbit or chicken. Yes, rabbit. In Spain, we still continue to eat rabbit. This is quite common to eat rabbit. And but of course, the famous one is the seafood. You can organize there in Valencia or in other cities, but I recommend in Valencia cooking classes that can be from the low budget to the top budget. Low budget is just making in a big pan a big paella for all the customers, and the high budget we can hire a kitchen and every 1 or 2 people. We can organize a paella cooking lesson with a professional cook. And let me continue. Also, the offer at the bottom right, you can see black rice. This is another type of paella, similar to paella, but the color is black. I think it's very, very. In fact, I was working for Japan market around 10 years, and it was quite popular, but not so popular actually for the Southeast Asia group. So I recommend a lot. And let me continue with Andalusia area. Andalusia area is, I think that not mentioned that we have there a lot of places, location to see. For example, Spain Square at the top left, which is the location of the movie Star Wars Episode 2, when Princess Amidala, Anakin Skywalker, walk around a square. It was the place. And also in Sevilla, we say Sevilla, in English is Seville, but in Spanish we say Sevilla. In Sevilla, you can find also UNESCO heritage, La Cathedral and Alcázar. Alcázar is at the bottom left, you can see a picture. I think that this can be a good alternative for the Alhambra. Later, I will explain more about Alhambra. And also, we can offer Guadalquivir River Cruise, and also flamenco, because Sevilla, we have a lot of flamenco shows that we can offer to you. And let me continue with Cordoba. Cordoba is famous for the mosque, which is also UNESCO World Heritage. But in Cordoba, I recommend to make a night visit. If I was invited some years ago to do this visit, and it's really, really incredible visit. The atmosphere is really, really interesting. I highly recommend this visit. Not the normal visit. It's a little bit expensive, and depending on season, it's quite difficult to confirm. But right now, due to COVID, is the moment that we can confirm easily. And also in May, take place the Patios Festival, which is also declared UNESCO World Heritage. It's a competition of about patios. Patios is a small square where the neighbors put their flowers, as you can see on the bottom left. It's a very, very interesting festival. We can organize visit to some of them because many of them are private and you cannot visit freely. So we can organize, if you need private visits to these patios. And also food is famous in Cordoba, like but in Spain, we have a really, really interesting gastronomy. But many groups request to eat oxtail soup in Cordoba. And that is a picture of that. Let me continue with Malaga. Malaga, in recent years, Antequera was declared also UNESCO World Heritage. I think it's a very interesting place to visit because it's a quite new UNESCO World Heritage. And also the famous small village towns like Mijas, Ronda also with the famous bridge, and luxury places like Marbella. It's a lot of rich people go there for enjoying the holidays. Right now, it's full of people in this area. Let me continue with Granada. Here, the famous Alhambra. I know that a lot of problems in the past, but I have to say that the ticket system for Alhambra changed in 2019, and situation is not better than before. So because it's not so friendly for the groups, because with the actual system, majority of the tickets are selling between 3 and 6 months before the visiting date. What means this? It means that for late go-ahead groups is not it's not easy to confirm the tickets, because when we buy the tickets, we need to input the customer's full name and passport number, and as soon as we cannot. For this reason, we cannot buy a stock for all of our groups. But as alternative, we can recommend Alcázar, like I mentioned before. In fact, in my opinion, it's quite similar to Alhambra and friendly with for groups. And also, you can include a night view from El Basin area. You can see a picture at the top right. It's also UNESCO World Heritage. I think a good view from there. And more places that you can see in Granada is maybe you don't know, but Spain is quite famous for the ski facilities during winter. And Granada is one of the most famous spots. And in fact, many groups coming to Spain during winter request to pass through the mountains to see the snow. So if you're interested, you can also provide you ski tours or facilities in Granada. And also in the Granada, at the bottom right, you can see flamenco shows in caves. Actually, are not operated due to COVID-19, but you can see the picture that is very, very interesting flamenco, because you can see the dancer in front of you. the atmosphere is completely different. I think that is more interesting than to see this flamenco show just in front of you. And let me continue with the North Spain. Maybe for some markets it's not so it's not enough matter to go North Spain, but I recommend this especially during summer, because in Spain it's super hot during summer. Actually, we have around 40 grades and it's very hot, but in the North Spain is quite cold. In fact, in some areas in Spain, yesterday night, there was 10 grades or something like that during night, right? So in the North Spain, Galicia, you can visit Santiago Cathedral and Princes Way, which is also UNESCO World Heritage. Heracles Tower, that is also UNESCO World Heritage, declared some years ago. And Galicia area is famous for the seafood. I put here a picture of the octopus. I don't know if it's quite popular this in Spain. In some countries, I know that they don't eat octopus, but it's I think that one of the most famous places in Galician area. I think that's very recommendable. And seafood in Galicia area is also quite cheap if you compare with Madrid or Barcelona. And let me pass to Basque area. I think it's very, very famous. And also usually when we go, our groups go to the North Spain, usually we combined Galicia area and Basque area mainly. Of course, they pass also other areas a little bit south from the Basque area, like Leon or Burgos, but basically they go to the North Spain. And in Basque area, you can visit the Guggenheim Museum, Vizcaya Bridge, which is UNESCO World Heritage. Very interesting to take the lift here. And also in this area, you can find a lot of wineries. I think that you hear this brand, Rioja. Rioja is a very famous brand of wines in Spain. And also in this area in Pamplona, you can enjoy San Fermin Festival, which takes in July. But unfortunately, this festival is really, really difficult to confirm hotels in around maybe 100 kilometers from Pamplona. So for that reason, I recommend San Sebastián Festival that takes in Madrid, just 20 kilometers from Madrid. It takes in August. It's quite similar. It's not quite similar. It's the same of a bull run that you can enjoy in San Fermin, but with less people. And you can stay in Madrid and just go during morning, just take a coach 30 minutes to this area, San Sebastián de los Reyes, and enjoy. Maybe you can think that is a copy of the San Fermin Festival, but it's not so. In fact, this bull run has 500 years of history. Let me continue with the one of the our bestseller products before COVID. It's a milk coupon. We offer to a lot of groups. It's just we can hand over to each customer a one voucher that they can exchange in 5 or 6 different bars with and you can order. Customers can order 1 drink and 3 tapas. I think that actually we are offering in Barcelona. I think it's a good chance for the customers to enjoy the feeling, the atmosphere of tapas in a bar. In fact, they can go when they want. There's not a fixed time or fixed date, so they can go when they want. And I think that's a very good product to sell to customers because it's not subject to a fixed time or fixed date. Thank you very much. This is my presentation, and I think that I need more time because I a lot of things to show you, but I recommend to visit soon, and I wait that you visit soon Spain. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ginga-san. So before I play the video that we got from Seville, I just want to raise a few Q&A that have come in as well. So regarding the borders, for example, if you're going from Spain to France, is the border open for travel from Spain to France?
Sorry, the borders are in fact open, but when you cross to the country, it depends on the other country, the requirements. It can change. So for that reason, I recommend to, in case of visit Spain, to not combine just in case, because this kind of information can change depends on week. It can change suddenly. So for that, if you come into Spain, I think that is very important. It's very not important, but I think it's better to keep in just one country. In fact, we have in Spain we have a good relationship with Portugal. I think there is not so many problems to combine with Portugal. In fact, the borders with Portugal are open. And there is not any limit except for some countries in Portugal. I remember that there's 5 or 6 countries. One of them is South Africa, Nepal, so Namibia. I think 5 or 6 countries that they are limited, but for the others they can go through the borders to Portugal.
But for Portugal as well, they have different, they have different rules for the bus seating as well, right?
Yeah, that's I mentioned in the
with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I say something also? Sorry.
Yes.
Sure.
Regarding France, France also admits vaccinated travelers. So it's the same rule as Spain. The only thing is France is a country that doesn't recognize all the vaccines. So you have to make sure there's requirements. Spain recognized 6. I don't know how many recognize France. So just keep in mind that there are some requirements that are equal for European Union, but some countries, expand a little bit over that, or they do different. So keep in mind which vaccines they accept. But if they recognize the vaccine that you have taken or your client has taken, is open to go from one area to the other. Spain and France.
That's right. So yes, if you want to go to France, you have to follow French rules, which may be different, may not include the same things as Spain. So you need to check with France before you go to France. And as Ginga-san said also, the things can change without notice. So you've got to be careful of that also. This is why we strongly recommend mono destination Spain. This is really what we're trying to emphasize here. But of course, if you do want to include other countries, you really need to check the other countries' regulation and make sure. I think the borders are open, but when you get to the hotel or when you're in the country, then you may need those documents to match what is the requirement in those countries. Okay. And without further ado, by the way, I've seen a few people raising hands. Please, may I ask you to put your question in the Q&A box, and we will update and answer those Q&A from the Q&A box as we go through the presentation today. Okay. Next up, let me share the screen to share the video that we received from Seville. And I think this one is gonna give you the sense of the message from Spain in general.
Dear friends from Indonesia and Mickey Travel, welcome to Sevilla. I send you my warmest greetings from Sevilla, an ancient city full of history, monuments, art and culture that breathes joy through its beautiful streets and squares. Sevilla wants to convey to you that we are fully recovered and prepared to receive you and your clients, taking into account the maximum health security in all events and scheduled visits. You should know that Sevilla has prepared itself during the lockdown months so that the first 4- and 5-star hotels have already begun to open among the 40 planned. On the other hand, our international airport is completing expansion and modernization works that will double the current offer of flights, which connects us with all the main European cities. Sevilla is one of the cities where the Islamic legacy is most present, with important monuments and works of art that should be enjoyed. Do not hesitate. Sevilla waits you with open arms and with the company of Mickey Travel. Welcome to Sevilla.
So I get the feeling that Spain welcomes all of your guests and all of yourselves with open arms as well, because really it's an open and awake destination that's looking forward to travel. Now, I'd like to introduce Caitlin from Rail Europe, who's going to share us a bit of information of how small groups and couples can actually travel around Spain. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me today. I'll just share my screen. Share. How does that look?
Okay.
Beautiful. So hello everyone, lovely to be here today. Thank you so much to Mickey Travel for allowing me to be here and to share some information about train travel. So as Tim said, I'm from Rail Europe and I'm the inside sales and account support at Rail Europe, dealing mainly with the Asia Pacific region. So Europe has quite a comprehensive network of trains, and it's by far one of the most comfortable and stress-free ways to explore the country. So we're going to take a look at this today. Let's dive right in. So firstly, why travel by train? Trains will take you to more locations than planes will. Unlike driving, you can get up at any time, stretch your legs, go for a walk down to the buffet car, and get yourself a drink or a light meal. You can also focus on the scenery, the company of a good friend, or even on a book. In most major cities, you'll find that there are direct connections to and from major airports. A generous luggage allowance is often included in the price of the ticket. Trains are super comfortable, offering wide seats on most services and also ample space for legroom. For the eco-conscious traveller, it's good to know that rail is one of the most environmentally friendly ways to get around the continent. Trains in Europe are known for their punctuality, and they'll take you from city centre to city centre, which is very convenient. So a little look at the different types of trains that you'll see in Europe. So in Europe, you have day trains, which are the most popular option for travellers visiting Europe. They allow travellers to relax and unwind while taking in the scenery on the way to their next destination. Firstly, there's high-speed trains, which are perfect for long-distance travel and can travel at speeds of up to 300 kilometres an hour. There's hundreds of connections between major cities, both domestically and into other countries within Europe. Intercity trains are another one that you'll find. So intercity trains also operate on long-distance routes and connect your major cities. However, they are a little bit slower at 170 kilometres an hour. They tend to stop at every little town or village, so really good for travellers wanting to explore more of the countryside at a slower pace. Finally, there's also regional or local trains. So your regional trains also stop quite a lot. However, they tend to be only on the shorter distances. So you'll find that these are the only available option for when you're focusing on a specific region. So the other type of train available in Europe is, of course, the night trains. Night trains are with more and more high-speed options being introduced over the years, they have lost a little bit of popularity. But in more recent times, we're starting to see a bit of a sustainable movement happening within Europe. So they're starting to make a little bit of a comeback, which is cool. So something to watch out for. Night trains do require a reservation prior to boarding. In terms of the accommodation that you'll find on board, it does vary depending on the carrier, but generally you can expect to have private options with one single cabin or a 2-berth cabin, or there's also couchettes which offer 4 beds or 6 beds. Otherwise, guests can just get a reclining seat if they're happy to forego the comfort of a bed. On a night train, you'll also find usually a buffet car or a bar where guests can purchase light meals and drinks. So in terms of ticketing for train travel in Europe, all trains sold through Mickey Travel are now 100% digital, which is a really big advancement. So this means that you'll have access to your tickets, of course, a lot quicker being digital, and you don't have to worry about train tickets getting lost because we're getting rid of that really old method of paper ticketing, which is good. So there's 2 types of different train tickets in Europe. Firstly, there's open tickets. So this is where tickets are valid for travel on a specific route within a set time period. Seat reservations aren't included with the open ticket. They need to be paid for on top of. And in most cases, In some cases, you don't actually need to buy a seat reservation. So for example, on a lot of regional trains, you literally can't book a seat reservation. So in that case, you'll just board the train and choose any seat to sit in, as long as it's vacant, of course. The price of these tickets tend to be the same, which is good for quoting customers. The other type of train ticket available is global fares. So these tickets are valid for travel on a specific route on a booked date and at a booked time. So very specific and strict conditions. The seat reservation is actually built into the price of the ticket, which is a lot more convenient. Global fares will vary a lot in price. So with global fares, you can get amazing discounts the earlier you book. So you can get up to about 60% off if you book one of their book early fares. The two ticket structures will vary depending on the carriers and the countries that you're traveling in. So you'll find that within Spain, it's global fare tickets that are offered for each of the services. The other option, of course, is rail passes if you're traveling by train, and they're often better for the longer trips. So rail passes offer unlimited train travel on days where the customer's pass is valid. The Eurail Global Pass you may have heard of before is one of the most popular rail passes, and it allows customers to travel within 33 different countries across Europe, including Spain. The other option, if customers are just traveling around train within Spain, there's also a Eurail One Country Pass that they can purchase. So when you purchase a Eurail Pass, you have 11 months from the date that it's issued to begin using the pass. So that means you can purchase it up to 11 months in advance, which is good, especially if there's promotions on, as there often is, which offer up to 30% discounts. Seniors and youths can access discounted pass prices at all times, while children under the age of 11 years old are entitled to a Eurail Free Child's Pass, it's called, as long as their parent or guardian is traveling with a full fare adult Eurail Pass. Seat reservations are required on your international high-speed and overnight trains when you're traveling with a Eurail Pass, but the cost of a seat reservation is much cheaper than what a point-to-point would be because your Eurail Pass is covering a majority of the cost. So Eurail pass holders also have access to a range of bonuses, which include things like discounts on city cards, attractions, ferries, and accommodation, as well as tours in certain countries. So this here is just a table which you can use to assist when weighing up which option is going to be more suitable for your client between a rail pass and point-to-point tickets. So for those only doing a few short trips, you would usually just go for normal point-to-point tickets. However, if you were doing 3 or more long journeys, then looking at the cost of a rail pass is definitely worth it. A rail pass is good for customers who just want to travel freely and they're unsure of their dates, like backpackers, for example. So with a rail pass, all you need to do is book your seat reservations locally as you go. You can book it before your trip, but if you want to travel more flexibly, then you can just book it locally. So children and youth discounts are available for rail passes and tickets. So it's always good to just tally up the cost and do a comparison to see which is going to be the better option. So just a little bit of a COVID update from Europe. So to ensure the protection of all passengers, rail carriers in Europe have implemented a number of health and safety measures to ensure the health and safety of passengers. So very similar to what Ginga-san was talking about earlier with the coaches, same thing for trains. So some of the practices that you'll see or that are included increased frequency of cleaning at the station and on board the trains, spaced out seat allocation when it's possible, mandatory wearing of face coverings for both staff and passengers, provision of hand sanitizer at the station and on board, and they also have onboard filtration systems, air filtration systems on the trains, and many other things. So you can rest assured that train operators are doing all that they can to keep passengers safe. So we'll focus a little bit more now on Spain. So in terms of their offering high-speed trains in Spain, so in Spain, the national carrier is Renfe, who operate the majority of the high-speed network. There is a new player called Ouigo Spain, who actually just came onto the scene in May this year, so not that long ago. They also operate high-speed services between Madrid and Barcelona. Intercity trains and regional trains, they're better known as Media Distancia in Spain, and they connect your larger cities with the smaller destinations over medium distances. Seat reservations are required in most cases on these trains. There's also Cercanías suburban trains, which fall under Intercity, which service the area around Barcelona and Valencia. As I mentioned earlier, there's also rail passes. So just to recap on that, you can get the Eurail Global Pass if you're traveling to many different countries in Europe, or you can get just a Eurail one country Spain if you're just traveling domestically. Travel in Spain, there's very convenient connections. So between some of the most popular travel destinations. So for example, using a high-speed network, you can travel from Madrid to Barcelona in just 2 hours and 30 minutes, Madrid to Sevilla in 2 hours and 20 minutes, Madrid to Toledo in 30 minutes or 33 minutes. You'll also find that there are some great connections from Madrid to Barcelona into bordering countries as well, if you're looking to go, for example, to France. So taking a look now at the two different domestic train operators within Spain, we'll take a look first at Ouigo Spain. So this is a little picture of it here. Ouigo Spain is actually owned by SNCF, which you might have heard of before. They're actually the national carrier for France, so it's a French-owned company. They began operations, as I mentioned, only a few months ago, so on the 10th of May officially. Like the Ouigo services in France, Ouigo Spain offers travellers with low-cost tickets on very comfortable high-speed trains. Ouigo trains have double-decker coaches with a capacity of around 509 passengers. So this allows them to take on more passengers without compromising on the space and the comfort for customers. Currently, the company is offering 10 daily services between Barcelona, Madrid, Zaragoza, and Tarragona. Cabin luggage and hand luggage are free. However, they are a little bit stricter than most carriers, being a bit of a budget carrier. There is an option, although, to pay for additional luggage if you feel that it's not enough. Ouigo Spain trains can be booked up to 180 days in advance. So I mentioned the luggage on the previous slide. This is a little look at the dimensions. So here we can see the allowed dimensions for hand luggage and also the cabin baggage, and also the cost of additional baggage. If passengers purchase additional luggage up until 30 minutes prior to departure, it's only going to cost them €5, whereas if they are made to pay for it on the day, if their luggage is overweight, it's going to cost them €20, which is not ideal. We want to try and avoid this. So it's important to remember that passengers must carry their own luggage at all times, and they need to store it either in the overhead compartments above their seats, or also in the luggage racks at the end of either carriage. So it's recommended for this reason to make sure that they only take as much weight with them as they can handle carrying. Currently, Ouigo Spain only services Madrid to Barcelona, stopping at all of the major cities in between, including Zaragoza and Tarragona. They do have plans to expand in the future, as we can see here on the map, from Madrid into Sevilla and Malaga, and also from Madrid into Valencia and Alicante. But for now, they're just focusing on Madrid to Barcelona. On board Ouigo Spain, inclusions, as with all carriers, depend on the type of ticket that you purchase. Their essential class is very basic, and it just includes pretty much your seat and the luggage. With the Ouigo Plus, ticket holders get a little bit of extra perks, so they're getting wider seats, as you can see in the photo. They get one additional luggage permitted, which is free. They also have access to a premium entertainment portal on board, and they just generally get more space and legroom. Regardless of which class is booked, tickets are non-refundable for all Ouigo services, unfortunately. However, exchange is permitted up to 30 minutes prior to departure with a €30 fee. There is an option to purchase flexible tickets. So in that case, the €30 euro fee would be waived. But you just need to bear in mind that you need to pay for any additional costs if the ticket is more expensive. And here, just a little inspiration for you from two of the main cities that WeGo Spain service. So you've got the Almudena Cathedral in Madrid to the left, and a very selfie-worthy backdrop, La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona to the right. Okay, so the most popular and the largest operator in Spain is Renfe. They're actually the country's national train carrier. So we'll take a look at them now. So within Renfe's high-speed fleet, they've got quite a few different trains. Well, they've got 4 really in total. So firstly, they have the AVE train, or the AVE, which covers Europe's largest high-speed rail network. It offers travellers super-fast connections between major cities in Spain, such as Madrid to Barcelona, Cordoba, Sevilla, and Valencia. Secondly, there's the Alvia train, so another domestic high-speed in Spain, which is used by Renfe for long distances. So this train connects Madrid and Barcelona to popular destinations throughout the country. Thirdly, there's the Euromed, which travels at top speeds of up to 200 kilometers an hour and connects all of the major cities along the Mediterranean coastline on northeastern Spain. Finally, there's the Intercity, which connects Madrid to destinations in the south of Spain. So on Renfe high-speed services, there's different classes available. If you have sold Renfe services before, you might notice that there's a little bit of a change in the name of the fares. So this change was only introduced earlier this year in July. So the idea here was to offer customers a cheaper fares and allowing them to just select the sort of services that they need or that they want. So at the top of the tier, you've got Comfort Premium, which is the highest class available and includes basically everything except for access. Actually, no, it includes everything. Then you've got Comfort Elige, which is still a premium service, but it's just not including the access to the Sala Club Lounge, and you're not getting the daily press magazines. Estandar Elige is second class with the addition of seat catering. So you get a meal served at your seat. And then you've got Estandar at the bottom, which is second class, and it doesn't include a meal. So very bare bones ticket. The good thing is though, with trains in Europe, you can actually take food on board. So this might not be an issue, especially if you have budget travellers. So in terms of the luggage, Renfe, I think, offers quite a generous luggage allowance for customers. So each passenger can take up to 3 items, which can be either bags, suitcases, travel bags or backpacks. Total weight of 3 items can't exceed 25 kilos and it can't exceed the length of 290 centimeters. So as with WeGo Spain, luggage can be stored in the overhead compartments and also in the luggage racks at the end of the carriages. You'll find that for most trains in Europe, luggage allowance is going to be very similar. With limited storage space and also the need for customers to transport their own luggage, it's important to communicate to your customers that this is going to be the case when you're selling rail to them. Renfe's Avant services operate on short to medium distance routes using the high-speed lines, and they go at around 250 kilometers an hour. So they make it possible to take advantage of the high-speed rail network to get to nearby towns in really, really quick times. It's actually very popular with locals who commute around the country. Avant trains offer similar coverage to the Media Distancia trains, but they're just a little bit more comfortable. Here's a little picture of them here and all of the inclusions. So there's only one class on the medium distance or the Avant trains. They offer all of the essentials like your fold down tray tables, ability to purchase food and drinks on board, luggage compartments, and of course climate control, which is very much needed, especially in summer when it gets really hot. This is a map of Renfe's very, very comprehensive rail network with the ability to get from Madrid to Barcelona or Malaga in just 2 hours and 30 minutes, or Madrid to Granada in 3 hours and 17 minutes in both comfort and style. Rail really is one of the most convenient ways to take in the beauty of Spain along the way. From September 2021, so this year, Renfe is going to be expanding their booking horizon to 6 months, which is really great news. At the moment, it's only 60 days. So 6 months is amazing. And it's going to ensure that you can finish up your client's itinerary much further in advance. So I'll just finish up with a little bit of inspiration for some of the cities that are serviced by Renfe trains. So guests can be taking in the beauty in the morning at the Cibeles Fountain in Madrid and sitting by the water in Sa Playa Valencia by the evening, with 1 hour and 38-minute connections between Madrid and Valencia. Alternatively, they could end their day enjoying the nightlife of Barcelona with 2 hour and 30-minute connections from Madrid to Barcelona. So Renfe also covers the beautiful region of Andalusia. Passengers can enjoy connections from Madrid to Malaga, as I mentioned a bit earlier, I think, in 2 hours and 30 minutes, or travel on from Malaga to Sevilla in 2 hours and 38 minutes. And of course, on the top of many travelers' bucket list is Granada. Connections from the capital to Granada are possible in 3 hours and 17 minutes. Cool, so thank you for your time today. I hope that I've been able to teach you a little something about rail travel in Europe. With such speedy connections in Spain, rail offers the perfect way for customers to see more of the country along the way. For those wanting to base themselves in a city like Madrid, for example, it's also a really good option for day trips in and out of one city. So for all of your rail booking needs, please do get in touch with Mickey Travel and they'll be able to provide some expertise and assist you with any bookings. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Caitlin. That's really nice. So I think we've got Spain is open. We've got wonderful destinations to see. And for the post-COVID era, we can imagine sometimes we won't see group sizes of 10 and above. We may see couples, we may see families. And I would suggest that rail is a great choice for that. Now, I'd like to introduce now Kathy Lupisan, who's going to present to us about Tukengo, which may also feature that as well. Hey, Kathy.
Hello. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
One moment. One moment, huh? One moment. Okay, so you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so thank you for that, Tim, and good morning to our presenters from Madrid, and good afternoon to our valued agents in Asia, and good evening to our friend Caitlin in Australia. So today I would like to present to you our latest product, the Tukengo packages. So before I point out the highlights of this product, let me show you first our e-brochure that we have released via our newsletter database. Hang on. So this is our newsletter, which some of you might have received through our newsletter database. As you can see, you will see there the opening page, as well as the table of contents, and you will see there offerings for Europe, the worldwide destinations, and our river cruises. This is how it looks. For the other markets like Indonesia, the rates there are in euros, but for the Philippines, we have also the catalog in US dollar. So you have everything there. mono destinations, basically. We even have Iceland and Faroe Island, and then we also have 2 country destinations, and then also the other destinations like Russia, Morocco, South Africa, and even up to Maldives. And of course, our new product, which is the river cruise. We have France, the romantic Rhine Valley of Germany, and then Austria with the capitals of the Danube, and the gems of Venice, Italy. So that's how our brochure looks like. And then let me go back to discuss with you our, hang on. Okay, so before, so the highlights, you see the highlights for this product. As you know, we have been offering a lot of FIT products to the market, and so we thought of consolidating this in one portfolio. We also understand your concerns that in this new travel landscape, there will be now a shorter booking turnaround, and clients may decide closer to their departure dates due to the volatile situation in terms of border controls. This 2 Can Go packages is your one-stop shop of ready-made holiday packages for 2 to 4 persons that will provide your clients with more flexibility. Your clients can as well pick any of the packages or combine them according to their preferences. Please note, though, importantly, is that this is not a sit-in coach tour, as most transfers and tours are on a private basis, giving importance to your clients' safety and security concerns. As we mostly still have allotment with hotels, instant confirmation can be provided. And since basically it's only for 2 to 4 packs, confirmation is actually guaranteed. Furthermore, I would like to point out that when you book with Mickey, as what has been done before, you will have only 1 Mickey point person, which is your sales contact. I need to make mention as well of the inclusion of our travel insurance covering COVID-19. And of course, we also have our 24-hour help desk for any urgent matters. And most, I think another important document as well is that we will include here the up-to-date destination COVID protocol guide when we send out the final documents, which I think you may not get when making the bookings through the other online booking sites. So that's our 2 Can Go packages. Okay, so for today, of course, I will highlight to you Spain, our Spain offering. As you can see, it's a 6-day, 5-night package, starting from Madrid and ending in Barcelona for 1,000 per person on twin based on minimum 2, and Euro 730 per person on twin based on minimum 4. As you can see there, the private airport transfer is already included, plus the half-day city tours in Madrid and Barcelona, also on a private basis, as well as the train ticket from Madrid to Barcelona on 2nd class. Hotel is based on 4-star city center. So this will give you an idea on how the packages or the itineraries of the other destinations will look like as well. Please do look out for this is our issue number 1, but we will have upcoming issues as well. The next one will be in September, and we will have more itineraries there included for Spain, covering the south of Spain as well. So please do look out for that. So that's it from me, Tim, on the Two Can Go packages.
Lovely job. Yes, so everybody, I think these Two Can Go packages are a great way to make it possible for families and couples to travel. And that's likely to be the first business you may receive after the COVID pandemic and the borders open. And just one question popped in. Okay, they would like to see if we can add a Holland, Netherlands itinerary in the Two Can Go packet in the brochure. So I think in September or so, we can also add that as well. So yeah, for everybody, we will continue to add the itineraries that we have in there. Okay. Now I'd like to just have around the table to say thank you to everybody for coming today. Thanks to all the attendees for joining. And I'd like to say thank you to Monica. And Monica, if you'd like to have any few words to say.
Well, I want to thank you all for being with us this afternoon, for all your questions. And please, if you have any question regarding Spain, the entry of Spain, I see there's a lot of questions regarding visas and regarding vaccination certificate and so on. Just send them to us. We will do our best to answer you, keeping in mind that everything is new. So sometimes, there's not a right or wrong answer, but maybe we'll see. We're working on that. We are updating. So, and I hope we can welcome you in Spain pretty soon.
Wonderful stuff. And Caitlin, thanks for you to come as well. And if you have any words for us?
No, just thank you for having me, and thank you everybody for listening to me. I do really encourage you to look at rail as an option, especially in this post-COVID landscape, where there's going to be more FIT travel. Yes, definitely worth considering rail. It is a beautiful and very comfortable way to see Europe.
Great stuff. And finally, Ginga-san, you have any words for our Asia participants?
Yes, just say thank you to all of you, and that I am waiting for you in Spain. I want to see you soon. I hope we can meet in person soon. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. So everybody, all of the materials, we will compile it and send it out to all of the attendees today. And again, if you have any questions, please do share with us or of course your Mickey Travel Sales representative. And Spain is awake, looking forward to seeing your inquiries and your business coming for Spain destination as soon as possible. Adios todos amigos, and espero que lo pases bien. I wish you all have a good day. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Adios.
Gracias. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to close our webinar now because we're complete. And thanks everybody for all your efforts, sending invites and taking part and all of that, okay? And I'll save a recording of this and share with everyone as well, okay? All right.
Thank you.
All the best,
Bye-bye.
guys. Take care and have a good day, okay?
Thanks.
Bye, you too.
Bye-bye.